The South African Revenue Service says it will probe tax evasion claims made at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into State Capture. Former Bosasa COO Angelo Agrizzi revealed in testimony that former Bosasa employees dodged paying their tax. SARS Acting Chief Officer Viwe Mlenzana joins us live now from our Pretoria studio. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, SARS felt the need to release a statement to address these claims over the last 24 hours, saying that you would follow up on those allegations without fear or favor. Why did you feel the need to release that statement and made your thoughts public?
I think it's important to bring it to the attention of the public that we're not necessarily only reacting to the issues that have come out of the state, out of the Zondo Commission per se, but we equally cannot necessarily ignore some of the information that has come out into the public domain in the past couple of weeks. Yes, the specific issues that have been mentioned in the Zondo Commission are of concern to us, and we will obviously do what we need to do to follow up closely on those developments that have been mentioned there.
And now, if you could perhaps take us into your conference and tell us how you are keeping track of all this jaw-dropping information coming out of the state capture inquiry. We have so much information coming our way. It must be pretty difficult for you even to keep track of. We heard Angelo Agrizzi speaking in depth about the systems they put in place to evade tax specifically as money was coming in and out of Bosasa and the various little companies they were setting up and then closing down. How are you keeping track of it? And even though this is not a criminal court per se, how are you keeping track of it and then moving forward on the information you're receiving from the inquiry?
Well, first of all, maybe let me indicate that we have a new unit that we established around about November last year, and this unit is called the Illicit Economy Unit, and it is charged to investigate and follow up on all syndicated tax fraud, and where we do pick up some issues related to that, we obviously expect that particular unit to follow up on those issues and investigate them thoroughly. The information that is available in the public domain, of course, we do take that particular information into consideration and we add it to whatever other information that we have. But I mean, also it's important to let the public know that we obviously cannot speak specifically about the matters that are being highlighted in that particular commission. Safe to say that we do take information generally that is coming out of the public domain, and we investigate it, because that particular information, including what is coming out of the Zondo Commission, are allegations. Obviously, those allegations, then we need to test them by embarking upon proper investigations. And this particular unit is more than capable and has got the mandate and the responsibility to discharge that particular responsibility.
So just to confirm, that new unit of yours is taking particular interest in the information coming out of the Zondo Commission and using it, as we would call it, as leads to perhaps look into further investigating those allegations.
That's correct. We do obviously take that information that is coming out of the commission. We do take information that is coming out of the public domain through public broadcast media, newspaper and news articles and other information, as it were. Of course, we also do have facilities where the public can also disclose anonymously if ever they want to, where they have picked up non-compliances with tax laws. And of course, we also do have what we call the voluntary disclosure program, and that one is for taxpayers who might have erred in the past and not necessarily disclosed properly all of their income or any other tax-related matter, where they can then come forward and then disclose to SARS as to what is it that they have done, and then seek to regularize where they've gone wrong.
Now, for me, I would like to think that what you'd be looking at is twofold. You'd be looking at an organization like Bosasa and the little companies that they'd set up and see how they've been evading taxes. But then, too, also, the people that they were allegedly paying these bribes to, names like Nomvula Nokunyana coming up in the inquiry. She apparently was being paid 50K a month in bribes, as well as somebody like suspended top prosecutor Nomqobo Jiba, according to allegations coming out of the inquiry, being paid up to 100K per month. Would you be looking at both sides of the money that was being processed from Bosasa and the like?
Well, look, I mean, you can imagine that, we're limited in terms of what we can comment about investigations and taxpayers. Safe to say that whatever has come out in the public and whatever does come out in the public at any point in time where it suggests that there's been some wrongdoing by anyone, anywhere, we obviously we do take a keen interest in terms of that, and we have an obligation and a duty to ensure that we investigate whatever transgression that might have been there in terms of non-compliance with tax laws. But most importantly, though, we must not forget the fact that what has come out in the public, for now, it's allegations. So SARS, obviously, we cannot necessarily only, take what has come out as the gospel truth. We have to investigate properly everything, as it were. But as I said, we obviously wouldn't be in a position to comment specifically on those taxpayer matters, as it were.
If we could just change gears quickly for my last question for you, Viwe. In the news over the last 24 hours, a comment from Western Cape Premier Helen Zilles on social media in which she suggests a boycott of taxes based on all of these allegations of wrongdoing coming out of these various inquiries. Do you have any comment on the Premier's comment on social media saying that she'd like to potentially lead a boycott of taxes to make a statement against government and the ANC?
I can't comment on what the Premier has said, and I have not seen that. Safe to say, though, that we would be disappointed at any given time if anyone would suggest that people or citizens should not necessarily comply with what they're obligated to do, particularly when it comes to tax. We have a responsibility to pay our fair share of what is due to government.
And just quickly before we go, how far are we in the process in finding a permanent acting chief officer for SARS? How far are we in that process?
Well, look, we as a management team, we're a little bit removed from that particular process. It is a process that is run by National Treasury, but from what I can understand is that it is very advanced, as we saw that there was an advertisement that was sent out late last year sometime, and so we're all waiting to see. But from where we are, focusing on what we need to do in terms of the job at hand.
We'll leave it there for now. SARS Acting Chief Officer Viwe Mlenzana joining us live from Pretoria. We thank him for his time this morning.